I'm 72 now, and sometimes, when the nights get too quiet, I still think about that summer of '93, the year my world fell apart and somehow came back together. I was 35 back then, living in a small town just outside Denver, Colorado. Back then, I thought I had it all, a steady job at the local auto shop, a modest house with a big oak tree in the yard, and my wife, Laura. She was the kind of woman who lit up a room without trying. We'd been married for 10 years of Sunday breakfasts, road trips, laughter. At least, that's what I thought, until that Tuesday afternoon in June. It started like any other day. Hot sun, smell of gasoline, radio playing Springsteen in the background. Laura said she was going to visit her sister in Boulder for a couple of days. I didn't think twice. I trusted her completely. Maybe that was my mistake. Around noon, I went out for lunch. There's this small diner we used to go to, the one with the red stools and burnt coffee. As I walked in, I saw her car parked outside. Laura's blue Chevy. I remember thinking, maybe her sister came to town instead, but when I stepped inside, that's when I saw her. She was sitting in a booth near the window. Not with her sister, with a man I'd never seen before. They were laughing, really laughing, that kind of laughter that comes easy when you're falling for someone. At first, I froze. I told myself, no, that can't be her. Maybe someone who looks like her, but then she brushed his hand. The way she used to brush mine, my stomach dropped. I walked out before she saw me. I didn't say a word, didn't make a scene. Just sat in my truck for a good hour, staring at the steering wheel, trying to breathe, trying to make sense of it. How long had it been going on? What did he have that I didn't? Was it something I said or didn't say? The questions came like a flood. I couldn't stop. That night, she came home. Said traffic was bad on the way back from Boulder. She smiled like nothing had happened. And I played along, because I needed to be sure. The next few days, I watched her, the way she talked, the way she smiled at her phone when she thought I wasn't looking. I knew, but knowing and accepting are two different things. One night, I followed her. She said she was meeting her friend Carol for dinner. Instead, she drove to that same diner, same car, same man, same booth. And that's when it hit me. I wasn't losing her. I'd already lost her, long before that night. I drove home and sat in the dark. The clock ticked louder than usual. I could hear my heart beating in my ears. When she finally came home, I asked. No anger, no shouting. Just one quiet question. Who is he? She froze, didn't answer. Then tears, excuses, apologies, but you can't unsee something like that. You can't unhear silence that loud. She said it was just a mistake. A moment of weakness, but it didn't feel like a moment. It felt like a slow fade that had started months ago. Maybe years. The next morning, she packed a bag. Said she needed time to think, and just like that, she was gone. I remember the smell of her perfume lingering in the hallway. I sat there, staring at the half-empty closet. That's when the house stopped feeling like home. The days blurred together after that. Work, eat, sleep, repeat. But nothing tasted the same. Nothing sounded right. Even the radio felt different. Every love song felt like a cruel joke. Every night, I'd look out the window and wonder if she was looking at the same moon, or if she was with him. It's funny how betrayal doesn't just break your heart, it breaks your sense of self. You start questioning everything. Your choices, your worth, your entire story. I thought about calling her. I even picked up the phone once or twice. But what was I supposed to say? Come back so we can pretend it never happened? No, something inside me knew it was over, but the hardest part wasn't losing her. It was losing the version of myself that believed in forever. That's a kind of grief nobody prepares you for. Weeks passed, then months. I went through the motions, like a ghost in my own life. My buddies at the shop tried to cheer me up. Took me fishing, to the bar, even set me up on a date once, but I wasn't ready. I'd smile, laugh, act normal, but inside, I was empty. There's a strange comfort in sadness when it's all you know. But one morning changed everything. It was late September. Leaves were turning gold. The air smelled like rain. I woke up early, couldn't sleep. I made coffee and sat on the porch, just watching the sunrise. And for the first time in months, I felt something, peace, tiny, fragile peace. like maybe life wasn't done with me yet. That same day, I took a long drive up into the mountains, no destination, just driving. Somewhere between the winding roads and the sound of the tires, I started to breathe again. That's when I pulled over at this little roadside gas station cafe. Old place looked like it hadn't changed since the 60s. Inside, an older man was playing guitar by the window. And behind the counter, there was a woman about my age, wiping down tables. Her name was Maggie. She smiled, asked if I wanted pie. I said sure, why not? It was the best damn pie I'd ever had. We talked for a while about weather, music, nothing important. But there was something in her voice, kindness, not pity. Just kindness. When I left, she said, come by again sometime. I did. Every weekend for the next few months, we never talked about the past. Never about broken hearts or lost loves, just life, simple, honest life. And somehow, that was enough. I started to fix things again around the house, in my heart. Slowly, piece by piece. Sometimes healing doesn't look like fireworks. Sometimes it's just quiet mornings and coffee that tastes right again. One day, I realized I hadn't thought about Laura in weeks. Not with anger, not with sadness, just acceptance. And that's when I knew I'd finally let go. Years went by faster than I expected. Funny how time moves slow when you're hurting, but flies when you start to heal. I kept going back to that mountain cafe. Sometimes Maggie would already have my coffee ready before I even sat down. Black, 2 sugars, she'd say with a grin. It wasn't love, at least, not at first. It was something simpler, companionship. A reminder that kindness still existed in the world. We became friends, real friends. We'd close up the cafe some nights and just sit on the porch, watching the stars. Talking about old songs, lost dreams, people we used to be. I told her about Laura eventually, not everything, just enough. She didn't interrupt or try to fix me. She just listened. Sometimes that's all a man needs. Someone to listen without judgment. One night, she said something that stuck with me. Pain doesn't mean your story's over, she said. It just means you've got another chapter coming. I laughed, said it sounded like something from a greeting card. But deep down, I knew she was right, because little by little, I started to feel alive again. I began noticing things I hadn't in years: the smell of rain, the sound of wind in the trees. Even laughter started to sound different, lighter, freer. Maggie had this way of reminding me that life still had beauty in it, not the flashy kind, but the quiet kind. The kind that sneaks up on you when you're not paying attention. We never made it official or anything. But one evening, she reached across the table and took my hand. And for the first time since Laura left, I didn't pull away. That simple touch told me everything I needed to know. Love doesn't always come crashing in like a storm. Sometimes it returns like a soft breeze, gentle, patient, familiar. Over time, I stopped seeing myself as the man who'd been betrayed. I started seeing myself as the man who'd survived it. That was a turning point. Because when you stop defining yourself by what broke you, you finally start to rebuild. I learned that forgiveness isn't about letting someone off the hook, it's about setting yourself free. Laura never came back. We spoke once, years later. She called out of the blue. Said she was sorry, said she made a mistake. By then, I'd already let it go. I told her I hoped she was happy. And I meant it. That call didn't hurt. It didn't heal either. It just closed a door that had been open too long. After that, I slept better, laughed more. I even fixed up my old truck, took Maggie on road trips up north. We'd drive with no destination, windows down, music up. There was freedom in that, not the wild kind, but the peaceful kind. And you know what? That's when I realized something powerful. You don't move on from love, you grow around it. Like a tree that bends around the scar of a lightning strike. The scar stays, but so does the tree, stronger, still standing. That's how I like to think of myself now. Not broken, just changed. Life has a strange way of humbling you and healing you at the same time. I started helping out at the local garage again, teaching young guys the ropes. Most of them were half my age, full of energy and mistakes. I saw a bit of myself in them. When they'd talk about heartbreak, I'd just smile, tell them, you'll live. It hurts now, but one day, you'll thank life for teaching you what you can survive, because that's the truth. Heartbreak is life's way of showing you what matters most yourself. Maggie used to say, every ending has something to teach you if you're brave enough to listen, and I've learned to listen. These days, I wake up early, make my coffee, sit on the same porch where I once sat heartbroken, but now, it feels different. The silence isn't heavy anymore, it's peaceful. Maggie passed away a few years ago, cancer, fast, unexpected. Losing her hurt, but it was a different kind of hurt. There was no anger, no betrayal, just gratitude. Gratitude that I got to know her, to share time, to feel again. That's the thing about love, it's not about how long it lasts, it's about how deeply it changes you. After she was gone, I found myself back at that cafe one last time. New owners, fresh paint, different faces. But when I walked in, I could almost hear her laugh echo through the room. I sat at our old table, ordered pie and black coffee, 2 sugars, and for a moment, it felt like she was right there beside me. That's when I realized healing never ends. It just changes shape. You carry people with you, in little ways. In habits, in smells, in songs, and that's okay. Because love, real love, never truly leaves. Now, in my 70s, I see life for what it is: messy, unpredictable, but beautiful. We spend so much time chasing certainty, but maybe life isn't about knowing. Maybe it's about trusting. Trusting that no matter how broken you feel, there's something waiting for you on the other side of pain. I look back at that young man from 1993, confused, angry, lost. And I wish I could tell him, you'll be okay, not in the way you expect, but in the way you need. Because sometimes, what feels like the end is really the beginning of who you're meant to become. If you've ever been betrayed, if you've ever watched your world fall apart, let me tell you this, it's not the end. It's the start of your real story, the story where you learn who you are without the person who broke you. The story where you find peace in your own company. And maybe, just maybe, you find love again not because you need it, but because you finally understand it. When people ask if I regret that marriage, I say no. Because without it, I wouldn't have learned how strong the human heart can be. I wouldn't have learned that even in loss, there's beauty. Even in silence, there's healing. And even in endings, there's hope. Now, when the nights get quiet and the memories drift back, I don't push them away. I let them stay for a while, because they remind me that I lived, that I loved, that I survived, and that's enough. So if you're listening to this, wherever you are in your story, take it from an old man who's seen both sides of love and loss. You'll be okay. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one morning, you'll wake up, look at the sunrise, and realize you made it. And that's the day you'll know the best part of your life is still waiting for you. You know, if there's one thing I've learned in 72 years, it's that life doesn't ask for your permission before it changes, it just does. One minute you're certain of who you are, a husband, a provider, a believer in forever. And the next, you're staring at the pieces of a life you no longer recognize. But here's the truth no one tells you when you're in the middle of it: those pieces, they're not the end of your story, they're the beginning of your rebuilding. Pain isn't a punishment, it's a teacher. It strips away everything that isn't real, so you can see what truly matters. Back in '93, I thought my life was over. I thought love was something that only existed once, and once it broke, that was it. But I was wrong. Love doesn't die, it transforms. Sometimes it turns into friendship, sometimes into strength, and sometimes it becomes the quiet acceptance that you're still here. Still breathing. Still capable of joy. If you've ever sat alone wondering why it happened to you, why someone you trusted could hurt you so deeply, I want you to hear me when I say this: it's not your fault. Their choices don't define your worth, your response does. And if all you can do is keep breathing, keep moving, keep trying, that's enough. Healing doesn't look like a straight line. Some days you'll laugh again. Some days you'll cry out of nowhere. Both are okay. Because both mean you're still alive. There were nights I thought I'd never feel peace again. But then, slowly, it came, not because time healed me, but because I let it. I stopped fighting the pain and started learning from it. Started asking, what is this trying to teach me? And every time, life answered softly, grow, grow kinder, grow wiser. Grow into someone who can look back and say, I made it, and here I am, not bitter. Not broken, just grateful, grateful for the love I lost, the lessons I learned, and the peace I found. If you're watching this, maybe you're where I once was, standing in the ruins of something you thought would last forever. And maybe you don't believe it now, but I promise you, you will rise again. You'll find laughter in small things. You'll trust again not because someone deserves it, but because your heart does. You'll start to notice the way sunlight hits your kitchen table, the way your coffee smells in the morning, the way silence can feel like peace instead of loneliness. That's when you'll know you've healed. Life isn't about avoiding pain, it's about learning how to carry it with grace. Because pain will come again, different faces, different forms. But this time, you'll be stronger because you've already survived the storm once. And once you do, nothing scares you the same way again. People ask me sometimes, do you ever wish things had gone differently? I used to say yes, now I say no, because everything that happened, every heartbreak, every mistake, led me here. To this version of myself, the one who can sit in silence and smile. The one who knows that love isn't about possession, it's about presence. And forgiveness, that's not something you give to others, it's something you give yourself. It's the moment you decide you deserve peace more than you deserve answers, so forgive. Not because they asked for it, but because you need to move forward. When I look back, I don't see failure anymore. I see a man who tried, who gave his best, who fell, but got up anyway. And that's what life really is, a series of getting back up. No one tells you how to do it, you just do. One small step, one breath, one sunrise at a time. And one day, you look around and realize you're okay. Better than okay. You're free. You've stopped waiting for someone else to make you whole. Because you already are. And that, my friend, is the greatest piece of all. If there's one message I want to leave you with, it's this: don't close your heart because it's been broken. Open it wider, because every crack is where the light gets in. Every scar is proof that you lived, that you felt, that you loved. And that's what makes life beautiful, not perfection, but resilience. The quiet courage to keep choosing love, even after it hurt you. The bravery to start over, even when you're scared. And the faith to believe that every ending hides a beginning. So when you find yourself standing at the edge of something you can't understand, don't turn away. Step forward. Trust the road, even if you can't see where it leads. Because someday, you'll look back and see every heartbreak, every loss, every tear was leading you here, to peace, to strength, to yourself. So yeah, that's my story. Not perfect, not always pretty, but mine. And if it means anything to you, then maybe it was worth telling. Because if an old man like me can find peace after everything, so can you. Don't rush it, don't force it, just live. One sunrise, one cup of coffee, one small joy at a time. And one day, you'll wake up and realize you made it, and that's when you'll smile. Not because life is easy, but because you finally understand it's beautiful anyway.